of the world, top of the...
Hello everybody, and welcome to today's edition of our Wonder Women podcast, the main podcast for thebusinessmagazineforwomen.com. In our podcast, just like in our magazine, we're focused on promoting women's voices in business, technology, STEM, politics, sports, arts, and culture. My name is Monica Antohi. I'm the founder of thebusinessmagazineforwomen.com and today's host. If you're hearing the ocean waves, that's because we're on vacation, the entire team. But the show must go on, and today's podcast is important and needed to be shared with you, our tribe. So here we go. Today's conversation is with Sarah Sommers of iFundWomen.com. Think Kickstarter, but for women-led companies. Yep, it exists. If you ever thought of investing, or at least helping female entrepreneurs or startup founders get a leg up in the business world, this is one of the best ways that you can get involved. Have you ever invested in a Kickstarter campaign? Yes? Well, good. Now you can go over to iFundWomen.com and find projects that will not only speak to your sensibilities, but also to your pragmatism and financial needs. And hint, hint, you can choose to support us, the Business Magazine for Women, in getting the funding we need to continue to bringing you amazing stories about the Wonder Women in every industry. Head on over to iFundWomen.com/projects/business-magazine-women. So that is iFundWomen.com, projects, business-magazine-women. And help us make women's lives better, get more women-led businesses out there, showcase women in STEM and tech, and provide the next generation with women role models that will impact every aspect of our lives. Today's podcast is with Sarah Sommers, co-founder, marketing manager, and in charge of the production department at iFundWomen.com. And she'll be giving us an overview of what iFundWomen does for their investors as well as for their women-led projects, and what the differences are between this crowdfunding platform and others, and how more women can get funded today. A shorter version of this podcast is also featured in our summer issue, which is out now. So if you want to hold on to the article and meet Sarah and her team, as well as a few other startups that we feature in the article, head on over to thebusinessmagazineforwomen.com/magazine and get your copy. I also wanted to say a quick thank you to our feature supporter of the week, Stephanie Black. Thanks, Stephanie. We greatly appreciate your support. All right, everybody, now let's get to our podcast. Hey, we're actually talking about not just money. We're talking about money, yes. We're talking about women and money. We're talking about startups. We're talking about crowdfunding. We're talking about venture capital, and we're talking about the impact that women have in that environment, and what's happening, and where are the percentages, and how we're going to like balance the scales and all that stuff. So to help me talk about all of this stuff, I've invited actually Ms. Sarah Sommers. She's the co-founder, of iFundWomen. She's also the marketing director for iFundWomen, and both important roles. We'll talk about her role being a founder and her marketing director. So hello, Sarah, and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Monica. Thank you for having me.
How's it going today?
I mean, you know, it's busy as usual, but all in all, pretty great. How about you?
It's fantastic. So I'm super excited about the conversation today because I'm a startup, and a lot of our listeners are startups, and I'm trying to bring a lot more awareness to women's startups because you know the numbers. So before we get into the numbers, let's talk about who Sarah Sommers is. So who's Sarah Sommers? Let's start there. Yeah, let's start there. So who is Sarah Sommers?
Oh, I'm telling you. Great.
Yes, ma'am.
So Sarah Sommers, so as you so kindly introed me with, I am the co-founder and marketing director here at iFundWomen. I also run our production department here, and we'll talk a little bit more about like the video component of iFundWomen and, you know, video content for entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs in general. But before this, preceding, you know, iFundWomen, I had worked with Karen Kahn on a previous venture. Karen Kahn is our founder and CEO. So my you know, career mission has revolved around the female economy and empowering women, supporting women for about a decade now. And in addition, I've been creating video content for brands, and that's really where my career experience you know, has brought me to this point. And yeah, so it's hard to remember life before iFundWomen, honestly, even though it's been only since November of 2016 since we launched. It feels like, I've been doing this for my entire adult life, and that's in the best way possible. So, a history of video, branding, marketing, and now, co-founder of a crowdfunding platform for female-led businesses.
Yeah, it's fantastic, but like you're not coming from finance. This is a finance company. Basically, it's a crowdfunding company, but which is, think of it, Kickstarter, but it's Kickstarter for women, and it's amazing. So,
yeah.
It's a bigger platform. It's a very funneled platform for women specifically. So fantastic. So how did you get into finance? Because this is kind of finance, right? So how did you guys come up with it?
So it's an interesting story. Something we often call ourselves is dual citizens, right? So we have been on both sides. We are now, of course, the founders of a crowdfunding platform, but we ourselves were crowdfunding at a point in a previous venture where we were creating video content for brands, content for women, by women. We had created a series that we were super proud of. It was called You're Not Crazy, and it featured stand-up comedians and also roundtable discussion around taboo topics for women. It was fantastic, and the concept itself was submitted for a grant through YouTube, and we won that competition, and we were given the grant money to create this first season. Fantastic. So then we go, it's so well received, and we're like, we want to make another season of this. So we're like, where's the money? And it wasn't there. So we had to get strategic and think about how we were going to fund this project. And that brought us to Kickstarter, which, nothing against Kickstarter. We ended up getting funded, and that was an incredible experience, and we were able to create our second season. However, the moment we went live with our campaign, it was sort of this like holy crap moment of how are we going to do this? Yeah. And not only that, leading up to the campaign, it became very clear to us, like where is the category for female-led businesses on these other crowdfunding platforms? There are all sorts of categories dedicated to the hot tech gadget or whatever it may be, a lot of trendy stuff, but women, unfortunately, for whatever reason, not maliciously, but they're being siloed on these platforms. At the time, at least, that's how it felt. And we were looking for support from like-minded entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs, and there was really no place for us to tap into that. So between those feelings and then also just not feeling like we were set up for success going into our crowdfunding campaign, that was when it dawned on us, like, iFundWomen needs to exist. It's so much more than crowdfunding when you go into something like this, and the impact that it can have on entrepreneurs and the growth of their startups or small businesses can be profound. And so we wanted to create the platform that didn't exist at that point for female entrepreneurs to provide just that, the support, the platform, and the resources for women to succeed at raising funding for their business. And, you'll have to stop me because I can go on and on and on, but it was at that point that we dove even deeper and found out that, okay, 2 to 6% of venture dollars are going to female entrepreneurs.
On the good day.
On a good day. And then that's not even, the numbers for women of color, female entrepreneurs of color, is dismal. 0.2% or something like that. It's insane. And what didn't make sense is that there are over 400,000 new businesses started by female entrepreneurs every year. So that's 1,100 new businesses started each day, and that's not even including the 11 million that exist already. So where is the place for these female entrepreneurs to go and raise capital for their business? And on top of that, of course, the implication there is that crowdfunding, rewards-based crowdfunding, which is what iFundWomen is, and we can go into more detail about what that actually means. That allows an entrepreneur or someone running a campaign to really maintain that independence and freedom as they raise money. But on top of that, what they aren't sacrificing is, they're not risking going into debt, trying to take out a loan, let's say, or they're not going down the path of pursuing investment from a VC when we already know that can be that can be incredibly difficult for women. So there are these barriers for women already built into these other funding paths, and so rewards-based crowdfunding, as we know it, is truly the stop on every female entrepreneur's journey that they should be taking when pursuing their funding, and that should be one of those first stops. And then maybe the next step is going out and getting, pursuing investment dollars, or getting an angel round, raising a seed round, whatever it may be, or taking out a loan, et cetera. But reward-based crowdfunding really should be that first stop. And almost 500 campaigns later, we are certainly more confident than ever that that's the way to go.
Yes, and the voice that you guys are bringing to the conversation, you're a female-owned, female funding company, supporting women in business, women, startups and all that stuff. And like we were talking about, 5% of the investment dollars is going to female-started startups. And it's mind-numbing if you think about it. We're 50% of the population, and we obviously start a lot of businesses every day. And where are we? Where are all these women? What's going on? Like, is it a cultural thing? I don't know what's happening, because it's obviously cultural as well. But at the same time, we go on Kickstarter, and honestly, I had a campaign on Kickstarter, and I don't know how to get in front of a lot of people. I mean, with the marketing that I have and all the background and all the people that I was working with at the same time, it wasn't enough, because you get lost in the amount of other stuff, other tech stuff, other medical stuff, other fintech stuff, and it's like that's where the money's going, because that's what the investors are looking for to invest in. But women investors think differently. So talking to venture capital women, which is rare, but I found them. They exist. So they look for different kind of investments. They look at the numbers at women started businesses, and they see first of all, the returns of the money that they're putting in, which is fantastic, and you probably know some of those numbers because they're really, really good. And the over-promising and under-delivering, we're not doing that. We're under-promising and over-delivering, which is very important for women as well when you talk about investing. So let's talk about a little about what does iFundWomen do? How do you take a woman from this is my idea, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to raise money for, and getting them to the funding? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's tons of different ways that we support and assist women in raising the funding that they need for their businesses. So iFundWomen is what we like to call a crowdfunding ecosystem for female entrepreneurs. Our main mission is to get as much capital in the hands of female entrepreneurs as possible in order to help them start and grow better businesses, period, the end. So we do this in a bunch of different ways. Obviously, we have our crowdfunding platform. We offer flexible funding, which is very valuable to our entrepreneurs, allowing them to keep whatever it is that they've raised throughout the course of their campaign. Obviously, the hope is that everyone reaches their goal, but it is nice to have that option of doing flexible funding as well. We also have a pay-it-forward model that's built into our crowdfunding platform, so we reinvest 5% of our own fees directly back into live projects on the site. We do that in 5 months.
I love that. I love
that. Virtuous cycle of funding.
I love that. Yes.
We take 5% fees on all transactions, which is standard across many of the crowdfunding platforms, right? We have to keep the lights on.
Yes.
But we want to do our part and put our money where our mouths are, and invest back into the female entrepreneurs who have joined iFundWomen and are raising money on our platform, and we feel great about that. We also have an accelerator pool on our platform where, interested parties who come to iFundWomen and are looking at different projects, and maybe they don't see a particular project that appeals to them and they want to support, but they want to support, the iFundWomen mission as a whole, they can contribute to this pool. And those funds are then distributed to the qualifying campaigns on our platform as well. So there are many ways for people to come and support. And then we also have coaching and video production services that we offer. So Every single
Amazing.
entrepreneur who signs up for iFundWomen, who registers for iFundWomen, receives a free coaching call with one of our expert coaches. This is an opportunity for them to speak with someone from our team, a real human who is going to learn about your business, talk you through how iFundWomen would be applicable for the funding that they need to raise, and then if there's time, they can dive even deeper into another tool of ours, which is sort of like, the holy grail of tools that we offer. It's the Coach's Playbook, the iFundWomen Coach's Playbook. This is truly a step-by-step guide to everything that you need to do and prepare for in order to successfully run your campaign. So this is where you're going to perfect your pitch. This is where you're going to write out all the details of your page. This is where you're going to craft out your reward strategy, think through your marketing strategy, and literally there's also something called the campaign planning calendar, where you are literally getting something to do every single day of your campaign. So, we're not going to lie. I'm sure everyone who knows anything about crowdfunding is aware that it's not easy. There are good days, there are bad days. There are ebbs and flows, and when you're in that trough and you feel like there's nothing left for you to do, and you're thinking, God, I got so many contributions yesterday, but today I haven't had, it's crickets out there. Turn to your marketing calendar on your iFundWomen Coaches Playbook and find something new to do that day. You don't have to do exactly those things every day, but you got to do something. You got to keep it moving. So
100%.
As you can tell, I'm like,
you're so excited about this.
Yeah. So the passion is just oozing out of me. So
I love that. It's amazing. That's what you're supposed to be doing every day, right? Like if you're this passionate about what you're doing, it's not work at that point. It's just you're happy doing this. So
it's not even work. That's right.
and the way you guys are doing it, I haven't found any other crowdfunding platform that does anything similar. Like you're literally taking every entrepreneur through coaching, through this is how you're going to do this. You're teaching them tools like there's a calendar they need to follow. There's specific things that you need to do. You need to do those, and let's work on your pitch. Let's work on what you're going to offer, and let's get you doing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like here's the steps. Nobody else does that. Nobody else does that.
And it's also worth mentioning, what we've come to know and the metrics show is that those entrepreneurs and campaigns that do take advantage of our services, be it the coaching and or the video production services, which I'll dive into in a second, raise 4.5 times more than those who go it alone. That's a significant, data point, right? So, we've taken that and expanded the offerings around our coaching, and now we've launched seasonal accelerators, also industry-specific accelerators, where they're these dedicated 12-week programs that include include your crowdfunding raise time, but also prior to your launch, there's 4 weeks, 5 weeks of pre-launch prep, each week being dedicated to a different aspect of your campaign. And by the way, the pitch, the perfecting your pitch, the refining your marketing strategy, building out your rewards, all of these things map to the building blocks for your business outside of crowdfunding as well.
Correct.
So that's why this is such an effective tool for women, for female entrepreneurs in these early stages of growing their businesses. When you're looking for those resources and that support and that funding, frankly, to keep existing and to grow your business and take it to the next level. And a lot of women also are battling the confidence gap, right? So they're
absolutely, it's a massive issue.
Yes, they're not seeing that. I'm sorry, I have to fix my part here. I see my bangs are in my face. That's embarrassing. Okay, I'm still a woman after all. Come on.
We all are.
But they're not seeing those examples of success, not seeing as much of it, right? And those mentors, they don't have those available to them. So that's part of what iFundWomen does. We've created a community among the entrepreneurs who are thinking about raising money, who have already raised money, who are currently doing it. We have a Slack network of over 1,000 women who are in it, with iFundWomen, and they're finding that support there. So, we encourage women to consider crowdfunding and raising funds for their business and going through this whole process, because it's also an opportunity to be seen and get out there and get in front of, Let's get in front of your business and articulate exactly what it is that you do, be the face of it, and just own it. And so it sort of puts this fire under you. You have no choice, and you have to and it holds you accountable. And it being, iFundWomen as the crowdfunding platform, but also the accelerator if you need that extra, that extra
boost.
Kick in the butt, and that boost and that support. And then our video production services as well. So, it's no surprise, and I'm sure you know this with the marketing, with your history in marketing. Video content really is king right now, and people are.
That's why we're doing video recording.
Yes, and people are 10 times more likely, I think that's the number, or they retain 10 times more of the information that is conveyed to them through video on social media than what's written in text. And where else could that be more applicable than when you're crowdfunding and you need your potential backers to understand exactly what it is that you are raising money for? You need a high-quality video asset that you can use for your campaign. And also, through our packages, we offer an alternate version of the video that you receive as well that is stripped of the iFundWomen stuff and all of the, the money ask, so that you have this evergreen marketing asset for your company, right, and for your business. And for a lot of these women, that's something they've never had before.
That's an amazing asset. That's an amazing asset, really, because like we were talking about, video is king right now. Content is king, but video, good quality video is king. And people will watch a video of everything, of anything, versus pictures. They'll just scroll through the pictures, but there's a video, and they're like, oh, wait, what's going on here? So it just catches you. And if you have a good coach that teaches you how to deliver a good pitch, 2-second, 5-second, 15-second quick pitch, you can just kind of start delivering that quickly within, first couple of seconds of the video.
And by the way, we host pitch competitions with our local cohorts that we launch around the country, hopefully internationally one day. And, we have culminating pitch competitions that sort of celebrate these cohorts. Most recently, we had one in Boston. And anyway, my point is something we so often see and are grateful to be able to help entrepreneurs get over is that a lot of female entrepreneurs, they're natural storytellers, right? Which actually makes them much more effective crowdfunders. But there is an issue with the pitch sometimes where, someone's telling you, a female entrepreneur might be telling you what her business is, and it's not until about minute 2 that she actually tells you what it is that her business does. The origin story comes first. How did you get to this point? And although that's important, and it's an important component because I do believe that crowdfunding really is this balance of storytelling and fundraising, and you need to really strike that balance perfectly in your video. You need to open, your cold open, your first 30 seconds of your video and or pitch someone listening to you needs to know exactly what it is that your business does. And I think that's often a misstep for female entrepreneurs who just haven't had that pitch training. They think that, starting out with that origin story is really what's going to capture people. And while that is important, it shouldn't be the first thing that anyone hears when they're learning about your business. You need to just be really clear about what it is that you do.
You're so correct about that, because women tend to be more, tend to connect more emotionally first. And then we'll tell you what's going on. So I want to connect, and then we can talk. But guys, obviously you go to pitch competitions, but you go to pitch competitions, and guy presenting is like, I'm the CEO of blah, 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 and this is what we're doing, and blah, blah, and the woman comes in and is like, no, this is my story, this is our story, and then here's what we're doing. And I'm like, that's a different kind of, it's not a confidence thing because she's there, she's presenting, but I don't know what it is. It's probably lack of coaching, like you said.
I think it doesn't come naturally to all. I don't want to, put every female entrepreneur in a box. I think that overall women are incredibly adept to and skilled at at being leaders of their businesses. That's no question. But I think it's just that instinct to come from an emotional place and tell your story. And it's, I think, frankly, probably easier to tap into that than it is to put on this mask of I am this professional, powerful woman. I mean, we could go on and on about how society makes women feel as though that's not, the position they should be taking, or, that position of power isn't something that should be coming so naturally. but that's not, we don't need to go there. But, you know, it all comes from somewhere, and it's just, you know, if we're all feeling that and it's a common theme, there has to be some truth to the way society has, you know, has impacted that behavior.
I have to do a disclosure for the audio podcast. We both rolled our eyes at that.
Yes, there was an eye roll. She'll add a little, like, you know, sound effect for that.
A little eye roll.
Yeah.
So it is culture. What we're saying is not male entrepreneurs or male, you know, investors against women. It's culture against women. So how do we rectify that? What do you think that we need to do? Like, what lessons do we need to learn from men that we're starting to learn, or we haven't learned, or we're not even aware of? What is your opinion? What do you think?
It's just all about more money and power in the hands of women, and that will lead to a better world with more women at the head of the table and making the decisions. And let me also say, you know, there are good men out there, and good,
absolutely. That we're not debating that at all.
Non-female people
who are not debating that.
Yes, who are so incredibly supportive of what we're doing, of you know, supporting female entrepreneurs and supporting the female economy. In fact, you know, our investors are majority made up of men, and we are, you know, and we're so proud of those people who have decided to support us. And
the culture is changing.
The culture, I believe, is changing. And, you know, what's so important about crowdfunding for funding for your business is that you do retain that freedom and that power to continue, you know, being 100% the voice and the owner of your business, and without it being tainted at all by other forces, and, you know, potentially sacrificing ownership of your company just because you really need the money, and maybe losing sight of your vision and your mission as a female-led business. And I think the more female-led businesses that are growing and successful, the more change we're going to see in this world of funding and investment, and, you know, and women in business.
Absolutely. The shocking fact is that we don't own as much property as men do. We're like 10% in the world, on the top side, I think. But especially in the U.S., we make 80% of the decisions, the financial decisions in the house. So that's a massive gap of, I don't know, power, empowerment. What is that? Like, how do we go from owning still little property to having that much decision making, you know, percentage? But at the same time, we don't feel confident that we can do this. We're not stepping into the light. What are we missing in translations? What's being lost? Because obviously we know how to make the decisions. We're running 80% of the country, basically, financially anyway. From, you know, because if you talk about money and how the GDP is being spent, we're spending how we're spending our money in every household. 80% of that is women's decisions, right?
Right.
And we're doing pretty good, right? Except for, obviously, whatever. We're doing pretty good. So how do we not see that? How do we convert that to?
I think, you know, everything that you're saying, it just falls under that confidence gap. So that women obviously are decision makers. They're strategic and rational thinkers. And they have an emotional aspect to their decision making that I think is actually, that I know is actually quite beneficial. And so that confidence gap is what needs to be closed. Women need to find that support, that mentorship, that community where they feel that they can step into the front and be seen and voice their opinions and express their values and feel empowered to do so. So, you know, I know that sounds kind of I hope that doesn't sound too wish-washy, but it's truly, you know, part of our mission. It's what we believe in. And so, and it's no surprise, you know, women come onto our platform and, you know, they feel like they don't have how am I going to raise the $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 that I need to do X, Y, or Z?
Right.
And, you know, they go through the coaching process. Perhaps they get a video done with us, and next thing you know, they've filled out their coach's playbook, and then they kill it. They reach their goal. They create stretch goals. They do more than they ever thought they could. And and then they're ambassadors, and they're evangelizing, you know, crowdfunding, and help to empower other women who may feel like they can't do it, even though they know they can. You know, I don't know what that is, and it's hard to articulate, but that feeling that, you know how to do all of this. Like, this is your business. You started a business because you believe so much in whatever it is that you're doing. And so why shouldn't you be out there raising funds? You know, people raise money for all sorts of businesses all the time, and it's that confidence that they exude about what it is that's behind what they're doing and why they've created this business that ultimately results in the return and in the funding that they need. So it's just about closing that confidence gap.
So you're thinking it's a confidence issue only. It's just, obviously cultural as well, all the other stuff, but a lot of it has to do with confidence and
mentorship and support. And
support is very important because, like you said, you know, we don't have people that we can look up to and say, hey, women, they're like, hey, she's doing what I want to do. You know, I look for them specifically and I find them, but you know, unless you find them and dig down deep, it's kind of, you know, slim pickings out there, seriously.
Right.
And so to be surrounded by a group of fellow startup founders and to be coached by women that know what they're doing, women that have been doing this before, women that have done whatever aspect that they're teaching you every day, and they know how to do it, and they're powerful in their industry, and they know what they're doing, obviously within themselves, and they're confident teaching you that. Yes, it instills confidence, absolutely, 100%. So men they were going to work and women were staying home. So they had this startup thing long time ago. So they've had many years of experience of getting confidence and learning how to do this. And they're being taught at home how to be confident. They're being taught at work how to be confident. They're being taught at school how to be confident. We're not there yet somehow. Like, I feel like we're missing that opportunity to teach more girls and more women to be more confident at every opportunity we get. So.
Yep. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, and I think as long as the businesses out there that are mission driven, you know, and their philosophies surround the empowerment of women, I think as long as they're continuing to exist and doing exactly what they say they are going to do, then we're on our way. It's just about, it's power in numbers again.
It is power in numbers, and once we have the numbers going, it's going to be easy for everybody. But until then, we have to support each other and be, you know, do what you guys are doing.
That's right.
So how do we, like, the marketing that you guys are doing for the campaign? Are you doing the marketing, what they're doing the marketing, or are you teaching them how to do the marketing?
It's a little bit of everything. Of course, we do our part to support our entrepreneurs. We obviously, you know, our social channels are flooded with, you know, amplifying the projects that are running on our platform and spotlighting entrepreneurs specifically who are running campaigns, the success stories, you know, every component of it. But there are no magical money elves out there. That's the #1 myth that we always want to debunk for anyone considering crowdfunding. No matter if you're on, you know, the hottest crowdfunding rewards-based crowdfunding platform out there. You know, rewards-based crowdfunding, by definition, is you as the entrepreneur going out to your friends, your family, and your followers, and you are asking them to support and contribute to your campaign in order for you to reach a particular funding goal. And you incentivize those backers, those friends, family, and followers, the FFFs as we call them, to do this by offering them rewards at various price points. And that is how you reach your goal. That is what you really need to tap into. You need to do the network mapping before you you launch to fully understand what your reach is. And it's eye-opening for anyone who really takes the time to do it. It's literally going through and saying, okay, how many followers do I have on this? How many people are in my email database? How many people are in my phone? These are all the different ways that we're suggesting that you reach out to these people. There's all sorts of levels of, you know, of outreach that you can tap into. And there, you know, one in a million, there will be someone who comes to the platform who you don't know, who finds your particular business on a crowdfunding platform and decides to contribute, and that's fantastic. But ultimately, what you need to be focused on is tapping into your existing network, and that's how you're going to win at rewards-based crowdfunding. Additionally, you know, through our community that we have grown on iFundWomen, there's tons of cross-promotion going on. You know, on Slack, there'll be a female entrepreneur who's running her campaign who reaches out on a particular, you know, public channel and says, hey, I'd love to cross-promote today with someone who has X, Y, and Z type of business. Does anybody want to, like, swap today? And just in that moment, if someone agrees to do that, you have doubled your exposure, right, to a whole new network of people. That's what it's about. You got it. It's like grassroots. You got to just stick to what you know and your network of people. And it's not old news. As soon as you go through the coach's playbook, it feels like this whole new world has been opened up to you, and you have this whole new lens through which you're looking at this, you know, all the work that you've done already throughout your career, whatever it is that you were doing before. Yes. Maybe it's different than this side hustle that now you're turning into your, you know, full-time gig as an entrepreneur. This has led you to this point. Take advantage of all those connections that you have made, because people will show up.
Awesome. But then at the same time, you're not. It's not new information. What you're telling them is basically teaching them how. It's not. You're not. It is new information in a way, but it's not really new information. It's basically tap your resources, use what you already have, and you already know how to do this. It's not that difficult for you to already do this. So get out there and do it, but basically have a platform that can support you as well, that teaches you how to do it better. Improves your pitch, improves your, you know, gets you a good video, gets you in front of, connected to more women, a support system, invaluable, all of those things.
Yeah, and that's, you know, this is free. There's free coaching on iFundWomen for this reason. You know, this isn't some complete, like, we're not inventing something here, but we are. There is a strategy, and there is an education behind, you know, being an effective crowdfunder, and you do need the support of experts, and that is what we're offering, and we want women to succeed, so we are giving that away. You know, like there's just, it's obvious to us why we need to do that.
Just take advantage. Anybody listening to this, just go take advantage of the platform.
Yeah, and there are proprietary tools and resources and strategies that we do offer, but it's all, you know, connected to these very, like, fundamental, obvious, and, well, maybe not obvious, but not fundamental, like, marketing strategies that most people on some level are like, oh, duh, but, like, you need a structure and a format to do that within, and crowdfunding is just an incredibly effective way to manage that.
Right, and not a lot of people come from marketing. So because not a lot of people come from marketing, they don't know what needs to be done necessarily. And even if you come from marketing, going into a crowdfunding campaign, it's a little bit different. It's not exactly the same as, you know, running a product campaign or running a, you know, whatever. But it's a little bit different because it's your own thing.
It's your own thing, yes. And, you know,
so you'll forget things. You will forget things. And if you don't have your checklist, you will forget to do things because, well, it's your own thing. So when it's for a client or somebody else, you know the stuff that needs to be taken.
That's right. But it's turning that on yourself, and like, you know, you are now like
your own client.
You're your own client. You are the content, and that's like people, you know, entrepreneurs who are prepping for their campaigns. It's like they have to retrain their minds a little bit, because a whole part, for example, of the pre-launch strategy is like, you want to be reaching out to your potential backers before you even launch. You want people to be on board with this journey, you know, for lack of a better word. Journey is like always the word,
yes.
but it's like so corny, but you know what I mean. So, you know, this adventure, this crowdfunding experience, you know, you want your network to be on board before you even launch. You know, there is a storytelling component, making people feel like they're a part of something before the thing is even launched and there is huge. And that's one of the biggest tips that we can give our entrepreneurs is like start early, you know, give people updates about where you're at in the pre-launch process, and then that translates to the rest of your campaign. You know, updating people and sharing your story and throughout this whole experience is a huge asset to you as you continue to market your campaign. Every day there's something new to say. Whether, you know, even if you're not getting an actual contribution on that day, there are things to be said. There are ways to reach out to people for sure. So
absolutely. And how do we get more women to take the step? Like, because obviously you guys have started for almost 2 years, a year and a half now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, a big part of our strategy is touching down in local cities around the country, right? So these local cohorts that iFundWomen launches, our very first one was iFundWomen Nashville last March. That was followed by iFundWomen Raleigh, iFundWomen Newark, iFundWomen Maryland. Boston, we just had our pitch competition last month. We had our iFundWomen Maryland pitch competition in Baltimore in April. I can't believe it's already June. Wow. And we just announced iFundWomen Seattle. We are partnered with The Riveter, which is a co-working space out in Seattle, which we're super excited about. And then we've also just, we're hoping to launch iFundWomen Minneapolis in the near future, and iFundWomen Philadelphia is also active right now. So to answer your question, how do we reach more women? How do we encourage more women to get out there and raise money for their businesses and be seen as the face of their business? We are touching down in these cities, and we're hosting boot camps in all of the cities where we have our cohorts. So next week we're going to be out in Boston. Next week we'll be out in Philadelphia hosting boot camps and offering office hours all day through our partners at WeWork. We'll be like hunkered down there. 4 of us from our team are going out there. And we're also doing pop-up production days at these, in these local cities. So we'll hopefully be going out to Seattle to do a production day later this month. And we just want to make it as easy as possible for women to sign on, to come to find out more information, to get their videos made. These pop-up production days have been really valuable to women who, obviously, that's a huge, that's a skill that not everyone has. It's a huge barrier, and for a lot of women, I can feel like, oh, I have to have a video. Well, I don't want to do something crappy on my iPhone. I want to have something really high quality. Now, tons of women go out there and DIY it, and they do perfectly fine, and they have their skills lie elsewhere, and that allows them to actually achieve their goals, crowdfunding, and that's great. But ultimately, you do want to have a high-quality asset, and that can be a deterrent for a lot of women. So we try to make it as much of a no-brainer as possible. It's that human contact. And it's building the communities locally where women feel like they're in this together, raising money side by side. That effectively gets all of these women out there and building their businesses.
That's awesome. I need to put you guys in contact with some venture capital funds out of Austin and Houston, led by women. And there's a massive, I just moved here last year, right before the flood. Great choice. But
here you are, though. Look at you.
Yeah, sure. But it's a really good environment for women here too, for women-led startups. So we'll talk about it after.
Yeah,
but I would love to get you guys in contact because hey, you're in the front end, they're in the VC end. Why not talk about how to make everybody's lives easier and get more money to women.
Yeah, and by the way, yes, and there, so many of the panels that we participate in, the topics are funding options for women, and we are among other representatives from VCs and other crowdfunding platforms, loan-based crowdfunding platforms. We all have a role to play in the funding journey for women, and we just, iFundWomen's mission is to enable female entrepreneurs at these very early stages to raise that initial capital that they need to go to that next step, whatever it may be. So we're all in good company together, and there's a place for all of us at the table for sure.
Absolutely, and I think where you guys are at is obviously all the steps are super important for women, but if a woman doesn't, like a female founder, doesn't have enough capital to go past the initial stage into the next stages, there's not going to be any next stages. Mm-hmm. So yes, what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing, and like the lessons that you're teaching, they don't just apply to women, because everything that you guys are doing applies to every startup founder out there. So I'm very glad that you're focused on women, because there's no other platform that's doing that. So
and one other thing you just reminded me of that I think is worth mentioning is, like, related to the conversation around VCs and crowdfunding and where that all how that all lines up. More and more VCs are interested in seeing a successful crowdfunding raise before they even consider, investing in a particular company. So it's absolutely, crowdfunding, rewards-based crowdfunding is a actual sales and marketing channel for you. It is a way to prove out demand before investing in supply, and doing that while raising money for your business. I mean, it's a pretty exceptional and unique format and platform through which to raise money, because you really are, if there's that proof of concept that's built into the whole experience, that I don't think you can find anywhere else. So just something, worth mentioning.
It's important
Can't say enough about it.
It's important, obviously, for every entrepreneur. So what drives you? Obviously, you're very passionate about iFundWomen and all that, but what was your inspiration? Who was your inspiration to start on this path? Like, what drives you? Yeah,
so,
there's three different questions there, so pick one.
Yeah, my inspiration. I mean, my inspiration truly, and this is probably from my video background, my production background, being able to spend time and meet with female entrepreneurs and hear their stories and help them create the video content for their businesses. I'm inspired by these female entrepreneurs who are joining our platform. That's honestly the truth. I mean, I'm motivated by the mission of iFundWomen and getting as much capital in the hands of female entrepreneurs as possible. But I truly believe in what we are doing, and as we discussed earlier, the more women who are raising money, the more change we're going to see in this world and in the financial world for women. And so that's what drives me every day, and I'm just truly inspired by every single entrepreneur who I come in contact with, who, whether or not they decide to raise money on iFundWomen, it's just, it's so incredibly impressive. Sometimes I forget that I myself am an entrepreneur. These women I speak to every day, they tell me their businesses, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so incredible that you have gone out and you have created this, this blockchain app, or you have created this, this financial education tool, or you're raising funds for the first line of your clothing line, or whatever it may be. Like, and then I'm like, wait, but we're also doing something, I just think I'm just so impressed with the perseverance and the power and the intelligence of all of the women on our platform.
Well, awesome.
I mean,
kudos to everybody there, and we're actually going to be featuring at least 2 people on there. I'd like to talk to them because they have some really cool startups.
Yes.
And why not? So
absolutely, yes.
So I would love to talk to them. Absolutely, but which one's harder for you, being a startup founder or helping women get funded? Like, which one? What do you see? Like, how tough was it to raise money? And obviously, because you can sympathize with everybody that's raising money. So how do you see that? Like,
what's harder for me? I think, this isn't, what I'm not saying is it's not like those who can't do teach, because we are doing and teaching, but I do think that it's a lot easier to be the cheerleaders for female entrepreneurs and just be high-fiving them along the way throughout this whole experience. that's easy. That comes naturally. And to turn that on yourself and, look in the mirror and be like, you can do this. And, my co-founder Kate and I, along with Karen, our founder, we constantly have to work hard to believe in ourselves, although we so strongly believe in the mission of what we're doing, but there are bumps along the road. And so picking yourself back up and moving forward is challenging at times, but since we've launched, we have experienced so much success just through the community and the platforms that we have built that it doesn't take long for us to get back on our feet and realize that what we're doing here is meaningful and it's working. So
that's awesome. The two things there, single founder versus co-founders, and from what you just said, it's obviously easier to be in a co-founding group, like 2, 3 co-founders, because of the pickup and because of if one of them is like feeling down, the other two can, help pick you back up. But you've seen success with one founder as well versus multiple founders, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, specific to crowdfunding, there's a lot of benefits to having multi-founder teams, right? Because if we go back to the description of what rewards-based crowdfunding is, you're going out to your network of people.
Yeah.
More people tells you have a bigger network with more people, right? And especially think about, creating a video asset where multiple founders are being featured. Your friends, your family, they're going to want to see you on camera. That's great for friends and family and your network to see colleagues, whatever it may be. And so yes, we see a lot of success. The Coven, for example, is a co-working space out of Minneapolis for co-founders, for women who had come from the advertising marketing world, who decided that they wanted to fill the need in Minneapolis for a female co-working space, and they raised. Their original goal was $100,000 on iFundWomen, and they blew that out of the water and created stretch goals and ended up raising over $300,000 on iFundWomen. But all 4 of them had extensive networks. So, that's a great example of a multi-founder campaign and business that has found success. Partly, obviously they're incredibly intelligent women and there was clearly a market for what they were creating, but it certainly is not lost on them that, having those 4 networks to tap into throughout their crowdfunding campaign and beyond, had something to do with that success that they've had.
It matters. It really does
matters.
Matter. Yeah. And like you said, you bigger network, first of all, massive when it comes to crowdfunding. But to me, the even more important part is that you're in a partnership, and it's a relationship that matters to you every day. It's it's not a marriage, but it's kind of like a marriage if you think about it. It's still you're spending so much time with this person, with these people. You're sharing finances. You're planning the future. You're having weekly meetings. It's a marriage of minds. It's based on a common idea. So
my husband is incredibly jealous of my relationship. Oh yeah, no doubt.
Not interrupted you. Go on. No, it's all right. So I'm glad you're interrupting me because I completely forgot about the fact that you're a mom. You're married and you're a mom, and you're doing all this stuff. And there's a lot of pressure on women in business, and there's a lot of pressure on moms in business. And we're trying to bring awareness to that fact that it's not as easy as all that, and it shouldn't be just on women to raise the children, but responsibilities fall on both, and the gender stereotypes are just beyond anything at this point. We need to kind of move away from that quickly, and there's a couple of companies who are doing just that. They're giving paternity leave, and so that's fantastic, but has nothing to do with iFundWomen, so I'm going to that.
All I can say to that is there's nothing more valuable than working alongside people who value family, who understand that there is a work-life balance to some degree that you need to have. We're all very grateful at iFundWomen to be working together. That's all I can say. So,
awesome.
but that's not to say I'm not aware of the bigger problem out there. You're exactly right. It exists. But there are companies out there who are doing good. But anyway.
I'm going to try to shorten this because I know I'm keeping you so long. So
No,
I have last couple of questions that are very short. So what is your favorite book or a book that you would give as a gift to people in your life?
Oh no, I can't remember what the author's name is.
We'll find it.
I just read You Are a Badass. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've seen I think I know what it actually looks like.
Unfortunately, I just saw it on the shelves at Urban Outfitters, and I was like, oh God, now it's like this trendy book that everyone's got. But I swear to God, I found it in Barnes & Noble last year, and everyone close to me was like, something's different about you. It is just such a confidence builder. I'm a sucker for a good, self-help book. Even if I don't need that particular type of help, I just find them all very fascinating. But You Are a Badass. Anyone who is out of college and trying to be successful in life, surely their mental states are not completely perfectly intact. Everyone can use a little boost, and I just think that book is brilliant.
That's awesome. All right, we'll put that down. We'll write it down. One last question, and I'm going to let you go because I'm so sorry we're keeping you so late.
No, it's okay.
So you have a billboard, and you have the option of putting it anywhere in the country. What message would you put on the billboard, and where would you put it? Not necessarily in the country, anywhere in the world.
Oh, my gosh. What would it be? I think it would be, and my mind, everything about me is iFundWomen, so I can't help. It would be a picture of female entrepreneurs, a collage of female entrepreneurs, and it would say there are 1,100 new businesses started by women each day. It's your time. Get funded.
Nice. That's very, very cool.
It doesn't have to be for iFundWomen. I just want women to be like, oh yeah, I should go get mine.
Anyway, that's a video billboard too, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's a multimedia experience.
Has to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Sarah, this was amazing. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. I really would like to plug you guys too. So how are they going to find you? How can women find you? How can men find you to invest?
Yes. Follow us at iFundWomen on all the socials. iFundWomen.com is where you can check us out and learn more about all the different programs and offerings that we have. And you can always email me at Sarah with an H at iFundWomen.com. Shoot me an email.
You heard it from Sarah. Start investing quickly. Female-founded startups, they need the money a lot more than anybody else out there because all the money is going to the men. Just saying. So let's just get some money to women, and let's support this awesome organization that's doing so many great things for female entrepreneurs. And thank you a million times, Sarah. And
thank you. Oh my God.
Awesome success for good luck with iFundWomen, and hopefully it's going to blow up. It's going to be so big that you guys are going to be in every major city in the country and helping tons and tons of female entrepreneurs.
We're on the same page. That's right.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Top of the world. Top of
Thanks everybody for tuning in today. The music for our podcast is graciously provided by our very own Wonder Woman, Cheryl B. Englehart. Check out her music and get your free music bundle at cbemusic.com. This is our podcast for today. Remember to head over to ifundwomen.com/projects/business-magazine-women, or the bottom to the right if you're on the video. And check out our project and invest in us so that we can continue to showcase the women that will inspire this and the next generation. Looking forward to seeing you all next time. This is Wonder Women Podcast, signing off from the beaches of France. Bye for now, and wishing you all a pleasant tomorrow.